morning. Unfortunately, I come to you as a resident citizen. I am a victim. I've lost over $40 million as a direct result. I represent the tens of thousands of human beings that are not here today, that have been oppressed and suppressed because they do not have the legal resources or the financial means to stand forward and take the necessary losses that come with going public and saying, I am a victim. There are 8 million, up to 20 million victims in the state of New Jersey that suffered because of the bribery and the attempted reverse extortion efforts by Fred Davies as well as Senator Bob Menendez. And today, Judge Sidney Stein sent a message to every single corrupt politician in this country that thinks that by being elected in office, it is their payday. We live in a society that rewards men who destroy the sanctity of the offices that they've been protected to uphold. And today, Judge Sidney Stein sent a very serious memo to every single business owner that thinks that they're doing nothing wrong by bribing an elected official. This sentence speaks volumes as to the future of where we're going. And I'm proud to be an immigrant. I was not born in this country. Is speak the truth on behalf of every victim that is silent, because the victims have lost money, and it is not a violent crime. It is worse. It is a crime of moral turpitude. It is a crime of distrust. We live in a society that is fascinated with violent criminals taking the law into their own hands, as we've seen with the murder of an executive who was harmed because we as a society no longer have a voice. Men like Bob Menendez and Fred Davies have been buying their freedom and have been buying the right to be able to stand in front of you, in front of this microphone and say, because I'm a lawyer, because I'm a politician, you should listen to me. But the truth is, 84 months and 7 years that Mr. Davies has a chance. What I witnessed inside of there was very sad. It is not a happy moment for myself. Mr. Davies identified a family member that is ill. He identified a lot of things. Where was his motivation? And it's greed. It's nothing more than greed. I believe that this is a fair and just sentence, but I do not believe that this is the end, but rather the beginning of many politicians that will face the wrath of living in a digital world where their crimes are no longer able to be hidden. What you've seen played out in front of the world has happened for the last 100 to 150 years. Everything from County Hall and Boss Tweed all the way to Bob Menendez. Yet we are finally entering into a world where we can capture the disgusting nature of what actually happens versus what we elect these people to do. This sentence was fair and just, and if anyone has any questions, please remember I am an absolute nobody. I am nothing more than a commercial real estate developer that in 25 years ago owned 34 commercial buildings. I have lost up to $40 million and even close to 84 with punitive damages as a direct result of the lack of care for the disgusting nature of the crimes that have occurred today, because they are non-violent and victims are silent. And I represent every single victim that voted for Bob Menendez and every victim of Edgewater that had their businesses stolen while Mr. Davies made billions of dollars, erected unsanctioned and zoning violation related buildings in order to enrich himself.
How were you harmed, sir?
At the time of Mr. Davies' criminal conviction in 2018, he held 2 commercial real estate loans. Within months of being convicted, Mr. Davies used COVID vaccine to close Mariners Bank doors in order to stop taking payments. By stop taking payments, Mr. Davies was able to default the loans that he was holding and then sell them to an exuberant rate to Spencer Savings Bank. I am one of thousands of victims. I am the only one that was able to get a court order from Judge Jack Sherwood in federal court in the federal court of New Jersey in order to investigate Mr. Davies. That court order immediately led to the exposure of one of the most corrupt and disgusting, if not the most, mathematically speaking, this is the most corrupt and the biggest corruption success story of justice in the history of the United States. Thank you so much, and My name is Daniel M. Reeses. I'm a citizen of New Jersey. I am a very proud citizen of New Jersey, and I'm even more proud of the job the prosecutors did in the face of bipartisan pressure and the continuous efforts to not prosecute this case during the election. So just like a terrorist organization, never insinuated any violence, nor do I stand for vigilante justice. What happened today should give power to the American people to know that there are prosecutors that are willing to stand up to corruption in a bipartisan, completely scared world of the media. The media has created a fear factor that law enforcement cannot get over. It ends today with this conviction, and I'm proud to be a citizen, and I'm proud to be able to speak openly as a non-politician, non-attorney, and an absolute nobody. I do not practice this speech. I am not looking for a soapbox, nor do I want any credit for being the human being that exposed this corruption via a federal court order. What I want is everyone to look at this video and see within themselves what they can do, not what they can say, no offense to the media, but what are you willing to do? It cost me $40 million, 6 years of being a father. My boys are 8 and 11. When this started, my younger son was just born. I urge every single one of you to participate in a non-violent, justified rebellion against corruption. Do not rebel against good, hard-working officers like you see today that do nothing. Rebel against injustice that you know is not true. And you will see that one man can make a difference. Because this entire story started with my court order that I had Judge Sherwood sign almost 3 years ago. For everyone who thinks one man cannot make a difference, you are wrong. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Criminal investigation must be launched into the activities of Mr. Fred Davies. After 1 week of surveillance of Mr. Fred Davies, the FBI immediately saw that Mr. Davies was working directly with Senator Bob Menendez in order to suppress his sentencing. By suppressing the sentencing, he never was a convicted felon. So all the acts that he was able to do, he completely got away with. I am here to let the country know that as a representative and a single taxpayer, we, the people of the United States, as well as New Jersey, deserve this to be used as an example for every single politician that is going to think twice about taking a bribe. Because what we as a society are about to do today is set an example for every single crooked, dirty politician that has worked their way to a point where their actions are able to manipulate the criminal justice system. We cannot, as a society, have zero tolerance without some tolerance. But over the last 30 years, Senator Bob Menendez has shown that the tolerance that we as a society have given to him, he has abused to a point where millions of human beings no longer are protected by the elected officials. And this sentencing is not just about me and the 8 million other citizens of New Jersey that are affected. It is about 300 million Americans understanding that the criminal justice system will no longer stand for men like Fred Davies and Bob Menendez to use their powers and their money to manipulate every single citizen that did not have a gold bar to give Bob Menendez, that did not have millions of dollars in a personal driver, and offered nothing to this man. I have personally lost tens of millions of dollars, and there are thousands of people like me that are afraid. They're afraid to stand up because they feel that they will be humiliated and they will be ridiculed for doing nothing more than standing up to corruption. And in here today, we will see exactly how the country is about to react, because Bob Menendez did not randomly get arrested. He was arrested because millions of dollars in foreign aid to countries that have used that foreign aid to create wars and to take taxpayer money in the tune of billions of dollars, that if we do not see the brevity and the gravity of exactly what's going on immediately today, we will set an example for every politician that says, well, what's the worst that'll happen? I'll get a couple of years in Club Fed, and we are done as a society. And the world must know that Fred Davies is the shining example of how dangerous white-collar crime is in a society that overlooks this type of thing, because the victims, such as myself, are looked as the aggressors. My name is Dan Reeses, and I hope that it has shed a light as to. Do you have any questions?
Spell your last name for me.
It's R-I-S-I-S.
Give me 15 seconds. Just tell me your relationship with Davies again.
Mr. Davies was my banker on multiple commercial properties. In 2020, I had 34 commercial buildings. Over the last 5 years of pure suppression from the government, I have lost $42 million in cash, as well as up to $80 million in direct equity. I managed the largest chain of pawn shops called Perfect Pawn, as well as owned all the buildings that they were in. I have extensive experience, including being the CEO of Pierce Bainbridge, and while I was defending the rights of a human being that was called a domestic terrorist, in the background, Mr. Fred Davies and Bob Menendez were taking assets from small business owners that found themselves in default. There were no programs to help commercial real estate.
So you're saying you're one of those businesses?
I am the biggest victim of the crimes that they were committing in order to make more money for themselves.
Sir, can you say your name, please?
My name is Daniel M. Reeses, and I hope today justice is finally served on behalf of every single human being that feels like a total idiot by believing Senator Bob Menendez and his intentions. And we are now standing at the precipice of an example that can be set by the people that we have elected.
And you, how much money